Holy shit! That's unreal! And yet it makes total sense!
Holy mackerel! This one's gone bonkers as well!
Finally! I've got this shit locked down! It's a bullshit theory, don't get me wrong, but if it somehow proves to be true, then it answers every single one of our questions.
Well, don't keep us in the dark. What is it?
Hibiki Otonakoji, you're also the culprit.
Eh? But Kanade's the culprit, right? She's already confessed to everything.
No, you're missing the point. It's small, but it changes everything. I didn't say Hibiki Otonakoji was the culprit. I said that she was also the culprit. They're not just accomplices, they're both the true culprit.
What?
What? Have you lost your mind?
That's impossible! There can only ever be one culprit per trial! It's against the rules for there to be two of them!
Prove it. Quote that rule right now and I'll take it all back.
What?
Yeah, I didn't think so. Now my turn. Everyone, pull out your e-handbook pluses right now and take a look at Rule 6.
Rule 6, Rule 6. Ah, here it is. In the case of multiple murders in quick succession, the first murderer will be considered the blackened.
The important part here is where it says multiple murders. This would normally apply when there are two different blackens who each killed two different victims. Nowhere does it mention anything about two different blackens targeting one victim.
But then, what happens if something like that were to happen?
When excluding cases like Rule 6, normally the one who last injures the victim while still alive becomes the blackened.
What do you mean by that?
Let's say Miss Nijiue fatally stabs Mr. Otori with a knife. If I were to then stab the dying Mr. Otori before his last breath, I would become the blackened that killed Mr. Otori. Essentially, whoever deals the last blow will have the last laugh, so to speak.
I see. If there are two separate victims and culprits, whoever struck first would take priority. But there were two killers and one target. Then the one who made the finishing blow is the culprit.
Excuse me! Excuse me! Oh, why did you use me as an example? That's not very nice.
Alright, so maybe they both attacked Setsuka. There should still only be one culprit, right?
Come on, Newsy, pick up the pace. The focal point here is that whoever lands the killing blow becomes the blackened. So, what happens if two people kill the victim at the same time? For something so precise, you'd knock her out first. Then, once she's still, you'd deliver two blows for the price of one. Double the stabbing, double the blackened.
You're out of your mind! Even if they stabbed her together, they're still different people with different reflexes. If one of them stabbed her just a bit later than the other, then only that person would be the culprit.
Oh, really? Then let's take this up with the judge. Yo, Birdbrain, what's the verdict on that?
A bird? I will have you know, Mr. Hashimoto, that I am in fact a crow, and you shall address me as such. Now decide. Rule 6, you said? That rule was put in place in the event that two separate murders occur in the span of one day. I'm all for complicated murders, but to go through the trouble of solving two cases in one trial, a line must be drawn at some point. Rule 6 is a defense against such scenarios. Nevertheless, our current predicament is quite unorthodox. Even I find myself at a loss.
If
two individuals were to injure one person at the same time.
You mean you're at a loss? You're the judge. This isn't even an actual court of law. You should be able to decide these things yourself. So, is it possible or not?
Theoretically, yes. But in reality, it's next to impossible. If a murder were to take place, regardless of location, we have our high-tech sensors throughout Utsurushima. These extraordinary sensors will be able to detect who landed the decisive blow down to 0.001 seconds. No matter how close the two would attempt to make their strike, our sensors would assign whoever struck last as the blackened.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I guess it really is impossible.
What if they get it down to the same 0.0001 seconds?
Well, we measure it down to 0.00001 seconds.
And if they do it within the same 0.000001 seconds?
Syobai, what are you doing?
You seem quite eager to propose a time difference that would be recorded as next to zero, Mr. Hashimoto. Very well. If a miracle such as your scenario were to occur, then I suppose my wins would be tied. Both individuals would become the blackened.
I rest my case.
Okay, time out. Pump the brakes. That's only theoretically possible, remember? Even if they thought they did strike at the same time, there's naturally bound to be some time difference between them.
Nikkei is right. Well, I agree that I'm perfect in every way. My sis, on the other hand, totally impossible.
Ho-ho! And the lies just keep on coming.
Come again?
For any two normal people, impossible. You two, on the other hand, totally possible. If my theory is correct, then that was exactly why you couldn't leave the abdomen behind. Of course, I'm not just saying this without any basis. The proof that you two could do it at the exact same time was provided by Newsy over there.
Huh? Me? What did I do?
Do you guys remember the interview that Newsy did on the twins back on the second island?
Why would we remember such a meaningless thing like that?
Hey! My interviews are only of the highest quality. They are not meaningless. But yeah, I always remember every detail of my interviews. It's what makes me such a good journalist. I even have it written down for reference.
You really gonna waste your time with stupid questions like that? Just shut up and do as I say. Read out the part about their secret behind their synergy word for word.
Let's see here. Holy shit. But that means...
Do you understand now? Somehow these twins have perfect synergy. Suddenly the whole idea of simultaneous stabbings becomes real. Both twins attested to this statement. Even Kanade didn't deny it at the time. All they had to do was utilize their special sense of rhythm to stab simultaneously without any hesitation.
Then they really did.
Wait, are we sure that was scientifically accurate? I thought Hibiki was exaggerating. Surely this shouldn't be possible for two separate people.
Shouldn't and isn't are two very different things, meathead.
Why do you keep calling me meathead?
Let me tell ya, as a broker, I've met a lot of strangers and freaks around the world. In terms of twins, I've met some who have identical physical abilities, some who could read one another's minds. But never before have I met twins who share an identical rhythmic sense. Guess I can take that one off the list.
Hibiki and Kanade are identical twins, right? They say that identical twins are almost the same down to their genes. They usually share the same personality, too. I remember seeing a film where two separated twins tricked their parents into believing they were their twin.
Right. So if Syobai's theory were to be true, then that explains why they had to get rid of Setsuka's abdomen. If they used their rhythmic sense to do the stabbing, they must have used their dominant hand. The same hand that they use when they're playing the instruments. They probably couldn't risk one of them forcefully trying to use the other hand and failing.
That would also explain why they couldn't have made additional stab wounds. Until Miss Chiebukuro was confirmed as dead, they would have had to leave only the simultaneous stab wounds.
Because it's a system where the person who last injured the body becomes the culprit.
But couldn't they have stabbed her after she was dead? Why would they get rid of the abdomen when...
Nah, a stab wound made before and after the person's death differs in its appearance. If they managed to stab her simultaneously on their first try, they naturally would have then waited for Setsuka to die. Dying from blood loss isn't instantaneous. It takes time. If they created a stab wound after she died, the difference between that and the first one would be notable. All it would have taken is one person knowing the difference between the two for that to fall apart. Enter me.
How can you tell them apart?
What am I, your mom? Go read a book about it in the library, dipshit.
I was just curious, okay? Why you gotta be so mean?
Holy crap. I never thought it'd be possible, but I'm starting to believe they both really may be the culprit.
One more thing. You want to know the scariest part about that girl? When Newsy was doing his interview, she wasn't too keen on her sis giving away that info about their rhythmic timing. And then if we look back even further to the simping spaceman's trial, that very same girl also asked Monocro about the existence of accomplices. Kanade Otonakoji had already been planning a double blackened murder as far back as the first trial, at least.
No way! But Kanade helped us numerous times during the first two trials!
Yep. All a ploy to get us to lure our guard around her. Heck, even I bought into it. She'd act helpful and we'd begin relying on her in trials. What'd make this trial any different? But we've still got the best to come. You want to know the funniest part about all this? Every piece of decisive testimony, one way or another, all came from your fucking idiot sister. You could have let the stab wounds be, since I would be the only one to tell the difference. And knowing these kids, they'd just ignore me if I tried to warn them. But because she blabbed to Newsy, you had no choice but to get rid of the abdomen. Identical down to the genetic level, eh? Ironic. You two couldn't have been more different.
Syobai. That strange feeling I had that was preventing me from voting, I think your theory has cleared it up. I couldn't let myself vote because Kanade wasn't the sole culprit of the case.
Hang on. If they both are the culprit, and if we didn't listen to Sora and just voted for Kanade...
Whether we voted for Hibiki or Kanade, it wouldn't matter. It would have been wrong, and we'd all have been executed.
So we all technically owe our lives to Sora. You're amazing! Just how did you realize something like that?
I think you're giving me too much credit. Syobai did most of the heavy lifting.
So we're settling on the two of them doing it together. Is that the public opinion right now? Yeah, I won't lie. I'm still not too sure. It's an interesting theory, sure, but...
I agree. As much as I want to trust everyone, this is all still hypothetical, right?
Sure, we have no concrete proof, But if this theory were to be true, then we can also finally explain Hibiki's cooperation. If they both become the Blackened and win, they both get to escape the island. That was Hibiki's incentive to become an accomplice. It's been a long battle, but we finally reached the true ending of this trial. The Otonokoji twins are the true culprits of this case.